What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Welcome to Betting with the Bag right here on odds.com. Odds headquarters, and it's playoff baseball time. We got 4 wild card games today to deep dive into, break down from every angle, and make sure that we get paid in full. I'm very excited about today's small card. We've been dealing with such a high quantity of games. It's going to be really fun to settle down and focus solely on these 4. We have special guest Ant L joining us, and I'm pumped up, man. I am pumped up. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat rolling with us. Let's give you guys some love, and then let's get to work. Here we go. We have Anthony Cook, Twins first 5. There was a $500,000 bet placed on DraftKings yesterday on the Twins at minus 149. Eric Jones, Joe Free, Elliott V going Yanks, Indians first inning, no score. I've only made one bet so far on the playoff card. We have Jacob Fogarty cheering on his Chiefs. Easy spot. Great work for you guys. I had the the over 53.5, which we got locked in on Tuesday. It was unfortunate because we were really promoting that play, and a lot of guys got in at 54, 54.5, and 55. It shows you Tuesday night's NFL show is a ton of value, although I did just go 5-5 on the week. Bebenek had another great week. He's sitting at 13-4 on the season. We can't wait to break down everything. That is tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. We got M. Strohs ready to go. Johnny K. Yeah, Johnny K also got the 53.5. Those of you rolling with us on Tuesday, everyone got that 53.5. Dylan Turner says, way too many people were on the over in the Chiefs game last night. Perfect time to lay off or take the under. Or just get in early. And you got paid. And it was a pretty easy, there was no concern. We weren't sitting there. I was worried for everyone who got in late. That's what I was worried on. Benson Hoff says more shirts on today. Yeah. Hey, I'm celebrating the Blue Jays' first playoff appearance in a little while. There is Jordy Nordman. Says, what up, Jimmy? Thanks for getting me off Zona and on Indy for the Survivor. Much appreciated. I'm glad you did, my man. I'm glad that you did. Jacob Fogarty, Bengals plus 6.5. Easy winner. Should have won outright. You should have. Hustle Wilson ready to go. We got Cashman 19 ready to eat. Junior Mommy says, I have a feeling a lot of people will be on unders in MLB today. And says, not good for you. Not good for you. There's Tyrone Coleman ready to go. Captain Marvel, Dylan Turner, D Nice, Vincent Gigante. LEV says like the hat. Yeah, I don't pull it out often. I don't pull this one out often. Not that I love it that much, but it's just Ulysses Hayes like in Toronto money line today. Wow. Slots 45 finished 2-0. Tampa Bay 3-way in point to score, but got hosed on the over in NFL. Damn. Will miss the NHL bubble, very profitable, 67%. They did it right. Now to navigate MLB with great cappers. Yeah, Slats 45, it was great. It was a great experience. Tampa Bay, a worthy champion. LEV says Tampa Bay was easy. And the NHL season finished for me plus 1.50 units on the season. It was whatever. It was disappointing. Let me just pull out exactly how it broke down for me. It was disappointing, but my average line was plus 121, which actually is my lowest average line in a few years. I was betting more minus ones and minus 1.5 units, up 1.5, ROI 0.53%, but 131 wins, 151 losses, so 20 games under 500. But if you consistently get those lines, those big plus lines, you can beat 20 games under 500 and have a winning, plus unit size record. Okay, we are going to bring on Ant L, and we are going to beat up this baseball card. Stephen Dunn says, I'm leaning Jays money line. You, Jimmy, I can't. I cannot take the Jays money line with Shoemaker on the mound. Montoya, if he's proven to be a genius, I will be shocked because he certainly hasn't made genius moves all year. We've questioned him consistently, but this is a ballsy move. Let's start out this show, though, by wishing a happy birthday. We didn't have a show yesterday, so wishing a belated happy birthday. Yesterday was Skylar Allen's 11th birthday. Skylar Allen, 11 years old, and she's an OG low bagger from the great Nut Flush Allen family. And just want to wish her, I hope you had a great, great day yesterday. All of us low baggers here sending you a happy belated to Skylar. Skylar, what a cool young woman. So cool. She has enough light and positivity one of the few people with enough light and positivity to shine through COVID-19. That's Skylar, putting smiles on people's faces. Much love to you, Skylar, and the Nut Flush Allen family. All righty, let's get to work. Let's bring in our guy, NL Sports. It's been a while since we've seen him. NL, how are you, my man?
So I had a great weekend, by the way. Go Pack, go Sunday Night Football. I do, people mostly know me for my baseball betting, and I do give out a lot of soccer plays on Twitter on occasion, but I do dabble in that NFL. So Packers +3 pregame, Packers money line pregame, and because I got balls the size of steel, Packers alternate line -6.5 at +300 pregame. Oh, so that was kind of fun. That was pretty fun. And did I hear you in your introduction? Were you complaining about being positive units at the end of the NHL season?
It's the worst season I've ever had. +1.5 units is the worst season I've ever had.
You have any idea how many people would love to have their worst season ever be positive units?
Yeah, I hear you, but I need it to be my bread and butter. And so when in an NHL season, when it goes +1.5 units, it means I have a bad year overall. But I hear you. And it's I'm actually, you know what? I got a little cocky, I think, with NHL. At the end of last year, the very last day, I hit my high watermark +30 units. The year before, we got up to 43 units. And that was the only reason why I stayed down south. That was what gave me that whatever credibility that I had was because of NHL. That first year I was working with Loshak. So it's just going to make me study harder in the off season. And, but I hear you. I just, if you have a 500 baseball season, if you end up your baseball season up a half unit or a unit, it's not been a good year for you probably, because baseball is your bread and butter.
That's true.
So
yeah, that's true.
That's what I meant. I want to. We want our pockets to grow fatter, and NHL didn't do that for me. So, alrighty, that's what's up. There's Nut Flush Allen right there. Said he almost put his 401k on the Packers. Nut Flush Allen, happy birthday to Skylar. Happy birthday to Skylar. We love you. Great group today. All right, Tony Hill, Sabino Anguiano, Ulysses Hayes, Jin Rummy, Nilo, Bright Ware. Love capping with Brightware. Says no dogs game 1 in MLB. Says Brightware. Lamont Williams, Dutch Boy Fresh. Dutch Boy Fresh started off the NFL season 7-1. You're going to see more of Dutch Boy Fresh. There's Martin Riggs. We got Riggsy in the house. Big Rigoo. Okay, we got a great group. Tim Montana X, Johnny K. Let's get to work. Funky Shark, Taryn Wood says Indians over 6.5. Good. We'll get to that game, but we're going to get to that game last. Yankees-Indians game will be last. Let's get to work. And we're going to start with Astros Twins. Astros Twins. This is going to be a lot of fun. Kenta Maeda and the Minnesota Twinkies opened up at -145. Bet 365 got hammered. Got hammered everywhere. And as I said off the top of the show, $500K was placed on them yesterday at DraftKings at -149. They've moved 30 cents at Bet 365. They're now -175. This total was initially juiced to the over 7.5. It's now juiced to the under 7.5. 59 Fahrenheit, but it warms up as the game starts. Mostly cloudy, 8 miles per hour out to left. Doesn't warm up that much, but that's the coldest temperature it will be throughout the game is opening pitch. Greinke versus Maeda. Greinke 3-3, 4.03 ERA, 1.13 whip, 67 innings, 67 Ks, 9 walks. Good season. Not great. And they certainly, I don't know if their pitching staff has been so bad this year. Greinke has been a bright spot. But Kenta Maeda, 6-1, 2.70 ERA, leads the league in whip at 0.75. 80 Ks, 10 walks, 66 and 2/3. Astros haven't hit righties all year. 244, 727 OPS. Twins versus righties better with more power, 244, 774 OPS. Astros bullpen has been a problem. Opponents batting 251 off them with 25 home runs, 4.39 ERA, 1.52 whip. The Twins bullpen, interestingly enough, has allowed a lot of home runs, 32 home runs, but 3.62 ERA, 1.27 whip. Yeah, long ball or nothing.
Not much else outside that long ball.
Absolutely. And then let's start. I've got a ton of notes here, but let's hand it over to our Aunt Al. First off, Twins have lost a Major League record 16 straight postseason games since 2004. It's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. What are you thinking here? I've yet to make a move. Astros, Twinkies. Cole Coleone, the Vegas King, says, I'm on Twins. And Jin Remy said plus 150 on the Stros. Y'all sleeping?
So I don't really take that 16 straight playoff losses to account because, I mean, that was last year and the year before. And, they always just, I don't know, for some reason, they always wind up getting swept by the Yankees. That's just what the Twins do. They get swept by the Yankees in the playoffs. But, yeah, I was looking through some of the numbers here. Kenta Maeda, when you start digging into some of the StatCast numbers, he is fourth in expected WOBA against him of all starting pitchers in baseball with a 248 number, and he has an expected batting average of 209. Both those are 40 points better than Greinke's numbers. You factor in also the fact that the Twins bullpen is substantially better than the Astros bullpen. There's no real question why the Twins are a big favorite here. The problem is they've been bet way beyond the bettable number. At like minus 140, I would be telling you I got to bet on the Twins here, but I slept on it. Literally, I went to sleep. And then it's like minus 170, so I can't really take the Twins' money line here, although I'm not taking the Astros either. But what I am looking at is the total. The total's really low, juiced to the under. And you got a Zach Greinke on the mound who's been pretty average this season. He has been bad, but, I mean, his numbers are right around average, and he's been backed up by a poor bullpen. And then you have two competent offenses. The offenses are both pretty good. I like the Twins' offensive upside better than the Astros. So this total's really low. And I kind of looking at an over here, especially a Twins team total over. If you could get the Twins team total at about 4, which if it's at 7.5 for a full game total, that Twins team total over 4 should be around the even money to minus 110 range. That would be the way I'm looking at this game. I'm going to be putting a half unit on the over 7.5, and then I'm going to be looking into this Twins team total over. The sidewise, it just got bet out of control with the steam on the Twins. There's just it's just too pricey right now to be grabbing the Twins at this point. But there's still not enough value for me to grab the Astros, but I like the over here. I think you could see a 5-3 game, 5-4 type game, and it's only at 7.5.
Well, let's talk about a couple questions, and then I'll break down some more notes on this game. First off, the team total at Bet365 is 3.5, Ant, but it's at minus 145. Would you prefer 4 with less juice?
Yes. Yeah.
Second, okay. You can spend on that.
Let me look it up right now. I can find 4 at minus 110, and at the book I'm looking at, it's the same line, minus 145 at over 3.5, or a 4 at minus 110. I like that 4 at minus 110. Most books you can have a range of team totals you can bet. So a 4 at minus 110, I think the worst case scenario, you lose, obviously, but I think most of the time you're going to push or win this because I see this game. The Twins, I got the Twins projected to be right around just a shade under 5 runs in this game, scoring wise. So I definitely see them getting somewhere between 4 to 6 runs here. Even if Greinke has a decent start where he goes 6 innings gives up 2 runs, the Astros bullpen is very poor.
The Astros are now plus 155 at Bet365. Whew. At what number would you say I got to bet the Astros?
Plus 180.
Wow.
I have the fair line of this game at about minus 150. So if you're taking the Astros at about plus 150, you're just betting a fair line. So I don't see a ton of edge in that number, but I would need like plus 180.
Wow. Very, very interesting. We got Lamont Williams, best bets in here. MK, we got a lot of action coming in. Okay, so let me just pop up a couple of these notes here from Lamont and the boys. Here we go. And then let's talk a little bit more about this. So do you care that the Twins have lost 16 straight playoff games? Different group? Who cares? Different group.
Yeah. Kenta Maeda hasn't lost 16 straight playoff games, has he?
No, but you can't be proud of his teams. They also chokeroo.
Are you talking about that team that lost the World Series to a bunch of cheaters?
But they've been a good team for a while.
They have. No, because I think when you're like, oh, this team's lost this many games dating back to 2004. Yeah, and like in 2004, I was 20. I couldn't even get into a bar in 2004. Who cares? Who cares what happened in 2004? Kids born in 2004 are, juniors in high school.
All right, that's valid. You could have just come up to Canada, got your drink on. Byron Buxton hasn't played since getting hit in the helmet by a 92-mile-per-hour fastball. Josh Donaldson, calf cramp. I wouldn't bring up a calf cramp, except these Josh Donaldson calves get injured every single year, and he's already dealt with calf issues. So they're hoping that those guys are good to go. What about this angle? Does this make the Astros at plus 155 a little bit more appealing? They were so bad at home this year. So bad at home. On the road, though, their 9-23 record, horrible. They allowed 5.66 earned runs a game, but they were scoring 4.6 runs a game. Their offense was rolling on the road in comparison to at home. Does that make them at all more appealing?
No. It's you got a worse starting pitcher and a worse bullpen, and the offenses are, statistically about even. So there's really not a lot of advantage to taking the Astros here at this price. I see Jin Rummy thinks it's hilarious that I would want plus 180 to take the Astros. Well, I'm sorry. What did you line the game at? I lined the game at Twins minus 150. That means the fair price on the Astros is plus 150. What's your number, Jin Rummy? Because, I think the Astros could definitely win the game, but if I want value to bet the Astros, I want plus 180.
Matthew Januski saying Marwin Gonzalez will play third, and he is better than Donaldson. Okay, so let's talk about Greinke here. Bad numbers against the Twinkies in his career. 24 appearances, 20 starts against the Twins, 5-9, 4.64 ERA. Even worse numbers at target, 1-4, 5.14 ERA. Then we have Martin Maldonado, his catcher, who is expecting to start, but felt something in his knee, he says, on Friday. That's not good. Josh James will be available. Okay, Doug Barnhouse is Astros fan here. Who thinks they lose this series? Well, almost everybody. And the only two guys in the chat right now on the Astros are Jin Rummy and Ulysses Hayes. But at this price, certainly would be Astros or no bet. So before we move on, we're going to talk about these four games. Break them down.
Take the Twins at this price.
Can't take the Twins. I agree at this price. We're going to break this down, and then we're going to talk futures. So we'll come back to possible Astros Twins futures. But let's look at this series price right now. Do you find this series bet more appealing right now? If you want them for the series, you get a little bit better with the Astros. You get plus 165 for the Astros, minus 185 for the Twins. And then to win, why don't we just go through each team's futures while we do it? That makes more sense. Then the Twins to win the AL right now are plus 550. And to win outright right now, these Twinkies are 10-1. Do any of those prices appeal to you?
No, I bet very few futures. I do have a couple that I have bet. A couple of them are actually on the team that I'm wearing right now, but that's just because I'm a fan, so I always bet their futures. But I do have a couple futures that I did take, but none of them were on the Twins. The 10-1 is very tempting with the Twins, but I still had to pass to win the World Series. I still had to pass on that, although I think they have a very good team. I think they're better than the White Sox, but I actually have a futures bet that I made on one of the other AL Central teams that we'll get to much later on.
All righty. Twins at 10-1 does seem appealing. There you have it. So are you going to pull the trigger on anything official here, Astros Twins? Are you going to make a move on the team total?
Yep, I am on that Twins team total over 4 at minus 110.
And the over 7.5 for half a unit?
Yes.
There you have it. The over 7.5 right now. Let's just take a look at what that is here. Is plus 100. Do you think there's a chance that this could go down to 7?
Yeah, there could be because you're when you're getting it bet down like this right now, it's juiced heavily to the under. When it's this juiced to the under, if it keeps going, you can get it at 7 more than likely.
If it hits 7, I'm going to jump on. Out of curiosity, what was the price you got on your 7.5?
Even money.
Even money. All right, there you go. 2 bets for our Aunt L, and at this point, I like if it got to 7, I would be on the over. I have interest in the Astros if it keeps climbing. And I can understand why someone would make a bet on the Twins at 10-1 here. CT Bays on the Twins run line plus 125. D. Summers says Heritage hanging the over 7.5 at plus 107. And if we quickly go over to our odds.com odds page here and see what they're offering us for the best line we can get here. Sorry, let's move over to MLB. The best line we can get here is, wow. So Bet365 giving you the best line at plus 155. None of the other books. Interesting. DraftKings on the Twins minus 182. I wonder if that $500,000 has anything to do with it.
Oh, that definitely. I mean, most of the sports books try not to get out of line with each other, but if you have that much exposure on one side, you got to adjust.
Yeah, because that's a 14-cent difference between FanDuel. Yeah. And the 7.5s here on the legal license books, Bet America plus 101, Resorts Casino plus 101, and then we have a plus 100 at Fox Bet and Bet Rivers. Alrighty, let's move on to White Sox A's. White Sox A's. Let's start with what these books are giving us here. FanDuel, DraftKings. White Sox, the best line you can get is at BetMGM at minus 120. And then there's a bunch of plus 110s for the A's. Let's take a look at the total here. And the best 7.5. The least juice on the over is at Fox Bet. And the least juice on the under is a minus 102 at Resorts and Bet America. Here we go. White Sox A's, 72 Fahrenheit clear, 7 miles per hour out to right center. These White Sox 17-13 on the road. The A's 22-10 at home. Both teams were rolling towards a possible pennant. Both teams were rolling and looking very strong.
Until the White Sox ran into somebody.
Cleveland Indians. Is that somebody? And
Cubbies.
The A's, a little different. 28-15 before losing Matt Chapman. And then they signed Jake Lamb. And this happens quite often when you have a superstar player go down and you get somebody who's being let go, a veteran let go by another team, starts really strong, showing that he belongs, and slowly kind of slips. He's now batting .267 in 13 games. And he started off really hot. Oakland's lost 9 of their last 17 games. Giolito versus Luzardo. Jesus Luzardo. Giolito, 4-3, 3.48 ERA, 1.04 whip, 72 in the third, 97 Ks, 28 walks. Luzardo, 3-2, 4.12 ERA, 1.27 whip, 59 innings, 59 Ks, 17 walks. It was an interesting choice for a starter. I was wondering if they would maybe set their rotation up so they'd have a righty facing the White Sox. I know that they have Maeda and Luzardo from the left side, but I was wondering if it was a possible Bassett or Fires from the right side because the White Sox are hitting 285, 887 OPS against lefties. The A's don't hit righties hard, 227, 728 OPS. This A's bullpen, very good, holding opponents to a 208 average, 23 home runs allowed, 1.13 whip, 2.72 ERA. White Sox bullpen, very good in its own right. 228 average against, 228 home runs, 3.76 ERA, 1.25 whip. Luzardo has pitched well at home this season. The decision was made to start him after that 3-inning appearance against the Rays. He shut out 3 of his past 6 opponents at home. So the Rangers and the Diamondbacks, they don't hit lefties, but the Giants do hit lefties. Giants did them pretty well. So that's 17 in the third shutout innings in 3 of his 6 home opponents, 6 home games. Oakland, 5-game postseason losing streak. Giolito's last 3 starts, he hasn't looked very good. 8 runs in 17 2/3. He's 1-1 with a 4.15 ERA in 2 career starts against the A's. And we don't know if Eloy Jimenez is going to be in the lineup. He may DH. He missed the last 3 regular season games with a sprained right foot. And White Sox A's, take it away.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the breakdown of this game. And first of all, the White Sox have a better starting pitcher coming into this game on the year. Giolito, 3.48 ERA with a 3.19 FIP, 3.35 xFIP, and a 3.51 Sierra. So all of his peripheral ERA numbers align with his actual ERA. And then you got Luzardo, who's been – all his numbers are pretty average. I mean, his line just runs right around 4 all the way down. 4.12 ERA, 4.19 FIP, 4.05 Sierra. And then when you kind of dig into it, I do think the A's got a much better bullpen. They have a top 3 bullpen in the league going right now, 2.72 ERA out of their bullpen versus a 3.76 ERA out of the White Sox bullpen. The peripheral numbers look about the same. The problem here, too, is you look at the Athletics got the 5th highest bullpen WAR, pitchers WAR, rated by Fangraphs at 3.0. Where the White Sox are at 2.5 WAR on the year out of their bullpen, which is not bad. It's actually good for 8th in the league. But the Athletics have that advantage coming out of the bullpen. But then you also want to look at, and this is the number for this game specifically that you just kind of have to where the handicap just has to end. The White Sox have a 143 WRC plus against lefties, while the Athletics have a 93 WRC plus against lefties. Both these guys are lefties. You have the better lefty coming out of the White Sox. And, I mean, 143 WRC plus, that's weighted runs created plus. They're 43 points higher than league average in creating runs against left-handed hitters. That's what that means. That is the most significant offensive number that you can look at right now. And that's just kind of where you got to end it here. They're going up against the lefty, and they're the best team in the league against lefties. The Athletics are going up against the lefty, and they're below average against lefties. So you're getting about 130 to 135 on a first 5 here. So that's actually what I took. I took the White Sox first 5 minus 135. And I like the White Sox team total over 3.5 here. It's looking at about minus 135 as well. If you could get it up to 4, get it to about even money, that would be even better. But I like the White Sox here, especially during the first 5. Now, with the bullpen advantage the Athletics have, I want to stay away from the full game. But the White Sox definitely have the advantage on the first 5 here because they have the better starting pitcher. And they match up against lefties way better than the Athletics do.
I agree with that breakdown, although the Giolito's a righty.
Oh, he's a righty?
Yeah, so
whatever.
Giolito's a righty.
Why the hell did I get in my head today that he was a lefty?
No worries.
No, he's a righty. I'll be goddamned.
But they don't have good numbers against righties.
That's fine.
And White Sox smash lefties. There's no doubt about that. The market has moved towards the A's. Do you think that – so at Bet 365, there's been a 10-cent move towards the A's. Why do you think money's coming in on the A's?
Because I'm a dumbass, and for some reason I thought Giolito was a lefty.
No. Why do you think?
But because I believe that, the A's probably overall are the better team. Lineup why? I mean, Chapman being out of their lineup has really screwed them. I don't know why the market might be trying to side with the A's here. I'm not looking to fade the White Sox against the lefty, and Luzardo is a lefty. But you also, I don't know, is Luzardo only going to be an opener, pitch 3-4 innings, and then they have the bullpen coming in? Because the A's do have a very good bullpen, one of the top 3 bullpens in the league.
They do. Jim Remy says, I like the A's at this price. Spenny Penny Bombs talking about the Preakness on Saturday. We have an all-day thoroughbred handicapping show on Saturday, back in action. All day Saturday with the Preakness. And what do you think about this total? This total sitting at 7.5, slightly juiced to the over.
I like the over a bit here. I think the White Sox can get a lot of runs. So that's why I kind of like the White Sox team total over as well, over 3.5. I'm not completely sold on just betting an over 7.5 here. It's just a lean, so it's not an actual official play. But my official play on this game is White Sox first 5 at -135. And I definitely like the idea of taking the White Sox team total over. Because anytime you have a total this low and the White Sox are going up against a lefty, that's just kind of low-hanging fruit you should probably take. Overall, if you want to talk series, I like the White Sox in this series. I'm not sure how I like the White Sox going forward, but I think this could be a pretty bad matchup for the Athletics. Just from a standpoint of who are the Athletics going to throw out there tomorrow? It's either going to be another lefty in Manaea, or are you going to throw out Fires, who's not good? Like Fires is a righty, but he's not very good. So, I don't really like the Athletics starting pitching in this series. I just don't think that Athletics match up well against the White Sox. The Athletics would have done a lot better if they, got a different team like the Blue Jays or hell, maybe even the Yankees. I don't know. But just going up against the White Sox, this is a bad matchup for the Athletics. And I think there's a pretty good value. I think it's about -105 to -110 series price on the White Sox.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Giolito got touched a little bit.
Bassett tomorrow. That's what people are saying.
Yeah, Joey Works saying Bassett tomorrow. Yeah, Manaea. I think I might have said Maeda accidentally off the top here just because we just talked about him in the Twins game. But Manaea, and Luzardo lefties, and when your best pitchers are lefties against a very, very – I would have started Bassett. I would have set up my rotation differently so that Bassett could start it. If I think Giolito could get touched a little, and if Luzardo gets touched a little, what do you think about this first 5 over 4?
I kind of like that. If it's at because 4 is not a very high total. I mean, it's not 4.5, it's not 5. If you're getting about even money-ish on an over 4, I kind of like that because I do think the White Sox can get 3 runs in this first 5. So you're only asking for 2 from the Athletics against Giolito, which is doable. Giolito's a very good starting pitcher, but I mean, he's not, a lights out ace all the time. So I could see this first 5 getting over that total, or at least pushing, 2-2, 3-1. Joey thinks Oakland wins the series. I could see that. I just think this is probably the best matchup for the White Sox.
Yeah. I like the first 5 over 4 more than I like the full game over 7.5. Giolito hasn't been good. Luzardo's in a very tough spot against a tough hitting squad against lefties. Ulysses Hayes says the A's have adjusted without Chapman. They went 8-9 down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean Chapman out of that lineup was bad. Yeah, them losing Chapman was a big deal there.
This is a tough spot for these guys. Joey Work says, past Giolito, do you trust White Sox starters? Do you? And Keuchel and the rest? Do you trust these White Sox starters?
I trust Keuchel, but past Keuchel, they're all trash. But this is a 2-game series, or this is a best-of-3 series, so you only need Giolito and Keuchel to do good for you, and then you're into the next round, which they'll probably lose.
Well, I don't want to go up against Cash Action, but I just feel like this 4 is vulnerable. I'm going to take the first 5 over 4, and that is a pick'em. First 5 over 4. That is a pick'em. I've already made a bet, and it is in the final game on the card, so I'll talk about that here shortly. There you go. Official plays, we have Ant L on White Sox first 5, and I'm on the first 5 over 4. And questions coming up. Michael Irvelina is saying, Ant L, how did you finish unit-wise after the regular season?
Up 10.5 with a 3% ROI. So it was disappointing because after 3 weeks into the season, I was up like almost 20 units, and then I went way down to like only up like 6, and then I kind of bounced back in the last 2 weeks. So the baseball season is always a roller coaster like that. So about 10.5 after a 60-game season. I'll take that. Then as long as my as long as my ROI remains between 2.5% and 3.5%, that's kind of where I try and keep it.
Bad news coming out from Dennis Garcia says Tennessee halted in-person team activities after multiple positive COVID tests. You knew it was going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's move on to Blue Jays, Rays, Shoemaker, Snell. This is Montoya. I just I don't know. Now, look, if he's going to sit here and say, "Hey, look at his numbers against the Rays," I mean that.
He's
ridiculous.
He's trying to give Ryu an extra day's rest.
I understand that.
He probably also doesn't want to burn Ryu against Snell, but then he'll just burn Ryu against Glasnow?
Glasnow, yeah.
So, yeah.
So I'm very comfortable putting on a Blue Jays jersey and a Blue Jays hat and fading them. I don't care.
Okay.
But I haven't done it yet. Shoemaker, 0-1, 4.71 ERA, 1.08 whip, 28 2/3, 26 Ks, 9 walks. He hasn't pitched since September 21st, and now he's coming off the IL from a shoulder injury. I mean, this is just nuts to me. It's just nuts.
Hold on. So, he according to the reports, he's being piggybacked by Robbie Ray.
Oh, God. So these career numbers versus the Rays happened a long time ago. So the 1.01 whip, I don't care about. This season, he made 3 of 6 starts against the Rays. So he allowed 6 runs, 10 hits, and 15 innings. That's okay. But you're telling me in the short season, the Rays are going to see him a 4th time? Yeah. A 4th time? And Ulysses Hayes, like in Toronto Moneyline Full Game, says if the bats show up, they can beat Tampa Bay. Toronto finished the season hot, winning 6 of 8. But I'm just beside myself with this decision. And it's not that I don't think Shoemaker has good stuff. You'd think that your starter in the playoffs, you might want to have pitching once in a while in September.
I think it's okay for you to doubt Shoemaker having good stuff because he doesn't.
This is crazy to me. CT Bay's on Jay's first 5. Let's break it down a little more. First, let's talk about Snell. 4-2, 3.24 ERA, 1.20 whip, 63 Ks in 50 innings, 18 walks. He was not pitching deep in the games at all in the beginning of the year, and they started slowly stretching him out as the year went on. Jays hit lefties hard, 262, 761 OPS. Rays versus righties, 237, 738 OPS. The Jays bullpen fell apart late in the year. They were so strong all year and completely fell apart. They ended with a 249 average against, 35 home runs allowed, 4.71 ERA, 1.49 whip. Rays bullpen 3.37 ERA, 1.19 whip, 233 average, 26 home runs allowed. They're so strong, and they dealt with injuries and handled it. They've won 9 of their last 11. They won the season series 6-4, but it was very close. Rays won 4 one-inning games. That's what happens when you have a great bullpen. You win one-inning games. The Jays actually outscored the Rays 48-44 in the 10 games. Snell allowed 2 runs over 7 2/3 and 2 starts versus the Jays, 4-3, 2.81 ERA, and 13 career starts. Let's talk about this market and then hand it over to Ant. Snell and the Rays open up at minus 185. They're now minus 200. And this total sitting at 7.5 juice to the under. And take it away. And by the way, Dennis Garcia said Jays bullpen needed some rest. They are fine. Take it away, Rays, Jays.
All right. So you just talked a lot about Shoemaker. And I'll just let you know one thing, too, because I had some sources let me know that Robbie Ray will be coming in. And Ray's got an almost 18% walk rate on the year. So in case you're not aware, that's really, really bad. So I'm not enamored with the Blue Jays pitching, so to speak. You got 2 guys who I don't really like. And then the rest of their bullpen, 4.71 ERA on the year, 4.57 FIP on the year. So I'm not happy with the Blue Jays pitching staff in this game. On the opposite side, you do have Snell, who's 2 years removed from a Cy Young, been really good this season. And the the Rays bullpen is one of the best in the league. A 3.37 ERA, 3.65 FIP, and a bullpen WAR of 3.6, which is, I believe, best in baseball. So the Rays definitely have a pitching advantage in this game. On the year, when you look at the batting, these teams are almost identical batting statistics. The Blue Jays, 255 batting average, 325 on base percentage, 108 WRC plus. The Rays, 238 batting average, 328 on base percentage, 109 WRC plus. So this game really just comes down to the pitching. It's pitching here because you run these offenses together, it's flipping a coin. And that's where I kind of wonder. I'm like, it's a 50-50 when you look at the offenses, but is it really minus 200 for the Rays? I don't know. I don't like the Blue Jays in this game, in this spot with this matchup, but I don't want to lay this number with the Rays, so I'm staying off that. But I am looking at the total here, and I don't think that Snell's invincible. They have seen Snell enough. If Snell gives up a couple runs here, this game should go over. I know overs in playoffs, people don't like saying that, but, usually you don't have a pitching staff this bad in the playoffs. I mean, let me just be blunt there. So if the Blue Jays get a couple runs here, which they're more than capable of doing because they have a very high upside offense. I mean, I like the Blue Jays lineup. I think you can get an over here. I would pass on the side completely unless you want to take a shot on the Jays at that price. I'm definitely not laying the close to $2, minus 190, whatever you're getting. I'm not laying that on the Rays here. But I definitely am looking at taking a shot on the over in this game.
Cash action on Tampa Bay first 5, Tampa Bay full game. Jim Remy saying fair line. When it was minus 185, I could have taken the -1 and I should have taken the -1. And it was a mistake. The run line hasn't changed. So let's just see before I get beat myself up, let's see so the -1 with the -200 and plus 105 comes up to -146. If it was -185 and plus 105, -139, so 7 cents.
And you can get that book I'm looking at on non-legal American book. I'm looking at -185 right now for the Blue Jays. I mean, for the Rays.
Now, what do you think of the Rays' first 5? It's a tricky spot because minus a half is -140.
I could get it at -130, and that is a lot more appealing. I'm looking at their first 5 money line, -200. I'm looking at first 5 run line of -130. -130 on the on the Rays first 5 run line is appealing to me because you have a substantially better pitching matchup there. But I mean, I think you're going to get some runs in this game, especially. I think I like both offenses. All year long I've told you I like your Blue Jays offense here, and I just don't like what the Blue Jays are doing with their pitching in this game. I don't like Shoemaker, I don't like Robbie Ray, and I don't like their bullpen. So I think if you get 2 runs out of the Blue Jays here, this game goes over 7.5, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and it's juiced to the under too. So you're not even laying. It's like 7.5 at -105 on the over. So that's not too bad of a price there for a low total.
Matt Randall, star of the Taint, play of the day, joining us, says, I love the over here. Vladdy, Grichuk, and Gurriel are fire right now. Don't like how many times these pitchers have faced these lineups, and Snell wasn't great last time out. Over. Mr. Gokster wants to fade the Jays' pen, but Dennis Garcia said they were just exhausted, needed rest. CT Bays on the Jays' first 5 at plus 160. I certainly like the number here. Mike getting an even worse line on the Rays there. I guess Mike's guy must be getting attacked there.
That's probably a local bookie in Tampa. Minus 225. That's a local bookie line right there.
I just don't. God, I guess 7.5 seems. Well, let's just take a quick look at team totals. I'm close to pulling the trigger here. I just look. I know the Jays have been hitting, and their team totals at 2.5. Ant.
Oof, that's probably juicy, but yeah, that's tempting. That's
minus
very tempting. Minus 135. Yeah, I mean, I might just stack the overs in this game. I mean, I'm already on over 7.5. I bet that earlier because the team totals don't become available until the morning for me a lot of the time. So I'm looking at some of these team totals now, and we are looking at the Rays is at 4 minus 130. I can get 4.5 at plus 105. That's pretty tempting. Yeah, and that Blue Jays team total is very tempting. 2.5 minus 140 or 3.5 plus 130.
Interesting. I got some different numbers slightly, and I usually get the worst numbers here about 365, but I get the over 4.5 for the Rays at plus 110, and the over 2.5 for the Jays at minus 135.
Yeah, I like those. I like plus money on over 4.5 for the Rays against a bad pitching staff. So I'm already on over 7.5, so that's my official play for this game. And I'll dig into team totals a little bit later. But yep, definitely over 7.5 at minus 105. Dylan Turner says Jay's team total over 2.5. Come on, LOL, I'm on it. I don't blame you for that.
There's just been a 10-cent move on the total towards the under as we spoke. My book just went to over 7.5 at plus 100.
I mean, I guess people just looking at Snell. Well, also, believe it or not, like this might shock you, but a lot of people in the sabermetric community, for some reason, think Shoemaker's good, and also like Robbie Ray because he quote unquote has good stuff, and I'm doing air quotes because he has great spin rates, even though he walks 1 out of every 5 batters.
Mr. Gomes says, "What about Rays without Meadows and Margot?"
Margot, not as bad as, or not as big of a hit as Meadows. Without Meadows, that hurts them. But you also got to look at it this way. You don't need Austin Meadows to get 6 runs off of the pitching staff that Toronto's going to throw out there.
Well, I'm going to keep an eye on this total. God, why would it be going down to 7? I mean, do you think it's possible that this drops? Now it's 7.5 plus 100. This drops to 7?
It could, yeah. I mean, if it's at even money on 7.5, then you can definitely see it get steamed more because a lot of people in the market are steam chasers, so that could get pushed down to 7.
The 7 right now, if you want to pay for it, is a minus 140 to the over. Plus, it's the under 7.5 is the same price as the under 7. What kind of book would give you that? That's ridiculous.
I don't know.
That's absolutely ridiculous. Okay, Russell Westbrook saying wait till 7. Dan Kelly saying just wait till 7. So I'm going to wait and see what happens with this total. But I certainly want to back the Rays here. I certainly want to back the Rays. Jim Remy says I got 7.6 runs and 3.85 with his projected output there. I just can't. Montoya has made extremely questionable decisions throughout the year. As fans, we haven't been sitting there going, "Oh, that was a great move. That was a great move." We've been upset watching Montoya. I mean, he's been saying the right things this year, but into the media, but the decisions he's making have been questionable. Now, Shoemaker Ray, I mean, now he wants to make this brilliant move here, and it's just so juiced, man. Because my first 5 minus a half is minus 140. You know, it actually, I almost want to take the first 5 minus 1 because that's even money. Because first 5 minus 1.5 is plus 140. Are you going to stay aside and just work on totals here?
In this game, yes. Because, I mean, I can't bet the Rays at that number. And, I mean, if you gave me a free bet, I wouldn't be totally against grabbing the Blue Jays at that huge plus price. Just because I think the Blue Jays have a good enough offense that, they can surprise. I mean, the Blue Jays have that team where even if it's up against a pitcher like Snell and the Tampa Bay Rays, the Blue Jays could still, get like 8 runs. I mean, they've done it before. They just have a very high upside offense with all those young bats in it. It's one of the reasons why of the series prices, I'm kind of looking at the Blue Jays plus 190 to win the series. I think that's a very tempting price because they are going to have Ryu go game 2. So when you look at it, all right, if the Blue Jays do manage to win this game, which I think they can, I mean, I don't think they will necessarily, but I don't think it's out of the realm that they win this game. Who knows? Shoemaker and Robbie Ray can piggyback for a decent start. I mean, anything's possible in baseball. At plus 1, if they win this game, you got Ryu and that offense at plus 190 if you take the Twins series price. So I'm not against taking the Twins, or not the, why did I say Twins? The Blue Jays series price at plus 190, I think is very tempting here. I definitely think there's some value in that number. I wouldn't lay the price. I would not lay the series price with the Tampa Bay Rays here.
Well, I'm going to wait on this total.
I think you're being too hard though on your manager.
I don't think so.
Well, what else is he supposed to do though? I mean, because now granted, you guys have a great offense, but your pitching, it's not like he has that great of pitching staff. He has Ryu and then a bunch of guys who are cobbled together. I mean, he has Taijuan Walker, who he got through trade. But I mean, if you don't have that good of a bullpen and you have a bunch of average starters, I mean, you got to find some way to get creative here.
Well, he's done that. So let's give him big marks for creativity. My prediction is Charles Montoya, it looks like an ass clown with this decision. Okay. So I'm going to double up on the Rays, first 5 -1/2 and full game -1, and pay the price and pay the juice for it. So I did want to talk it out. And it's not like, look, the Jays hit lefties, but they don't have that much power. You'd think with a 262 batting average against lefties, you'd have a higher OPS of 761. They don't have that much power against lefties. And Vladdy hasn't been as strong as we expected him to be this year. And he did come up late. All right. And I'm going to wait and see what this total is. Right now, 7.5 at plus even money is somewhat appealing, but I'd like to see what see if it possibly goes down to 7. Dylan Turner says Jay's team total over 2.5. Book it. I have -135. I understand that, and I don't want to put too much on this game. And I just think that Shoemaker, Ray, Jay's bullpen, Snell, Ray's bullpen. All right. Okay, there you go. Blue Jays, Rays broken down. And from a futures perspective, why don't we go back to futures? We just talked about the series price. We'll go back to futures at the very end. Ulysses Hayes says this is different baseball play. Jimmy Vladdy will show up. And Mr. Ghost says Rays hit lefties very, very well. Alrighty. Look, I can understand, and I want to jump on the over, but there's no reason to make a move here at this point.
Yeah, if the under is getting steamed.
Well, let's talk Yankees, Indians, because this is just simplifying things too much with Yanks, Indians, but I saw the first 5 at 3.
I saw that, yeah.
And I was like, come on. Come on. And I pulled the trigger. I got over 3 at -115. First 5 right now at 3.5, or excuse me, at 3 is now gone to -130. So that first 5 over 3 is -130 at Bet365. 3. You give me a 3, and it's not like the weather's bad and the wind's 7 miles per hour. It's sideways, but it is blowing sort of out sideways out to right. It's 61 Fahrenheit. Garrett Cole versus Shane Bieber. Cole 7-3, 2.84 ERA, 0.96 WHIP, 73 innings, 94 K, 17 walks. Certainly came on, especially when Sanchez wasn't catching him. So Higashioka will be behind the plate. He's got a 1 ERA in the 4 starts with Higashioka. This Indians team had a few things rolling for them this year. One, that Shane Bieber was spectacular out of the gate. Jose Ramirez was an MVP, especially in the second half of the year, clear MVP in the second half of the year. if either Shane Bieber or Jose Ramirez was the MVP, they should probably go 1-2 in the American League in voting. Then you have Sandy Alomar take over the team when, Tito goes down with this gastrointestinal issues, and he just kind of embodies what this team is. They're having fun out there. They're winning baseball games. Let's take a look at the numbers here and have Ant give us a breakdown, and then I'll go over some more stats here. Cole Bieber, Bet365 opened this as a pick'em, 5-cent move towards the Indians. This total at 6.5. There's been a 5-cent move to the over. So it opened under 6.5 at -120. It's now under 6.5 at -115. Take it away, Ant. Yankees, Indians.
Let me see. You said how much of a cent move?
Sorry?
Oh, all right. Sorry, you said 5-cent move toward the Indians. I thought this was moved towards the Yankees. But anyway, so we got fake Justin Bieber up against Garrett Cole. And fake Justin Bieber has been the best pitcher in all of baseball this year. 163 ERA, 207 FIP, 204 xFIP, 41% K rate. Now, I don't think you can get better than a 41% K rate. That's like literally the best I've ever seen. And he's going up against Garrett Cole where, how many times can you say Garrett Cole's not going to be the best starting pitcher in this game? Garrett Cole's one of the 3 best starting pitchers in baseball. He got a $300 million contract for a reason. 284 ERA. And that's with him having a rough start to the season. He was still able to come back and become more like Cole. A 32% K rate for Garrett Cole. That's amazing. Except Bieber's got 41% K rate. And then you look at the bullpens, which I handicapped the bullpens, but the problem is I don't think we will see that much of the bullpens in this game. The Indians have a substantial bullpen advantage over the Yankees here. 3.53 ERA, 3.39 FIP. They ended the year with a 3.4 pitcher WAR out of their bullpen. And the Yankees, 351 ERA, 367 FIP, and a 0.7 pitchers WAR out of their bullpen. And here's another number that's kind of crazy. The Yankees are averaging a full batter more walked per 9 innings out of their bullpen than the Indians. So you have a substantially better bullpen for the Indians. You have a better starting pitcher, which is kind of crazy to say because the Yankees are throwing Cole out there. But you got a better starting pitcher with Bieber. The only thing that worries me is the Indians lineup has not been very good this year. The Indians offense has been dormant all season, but yet they still made the playoffs, just sailed right into the playoffs. And that's because their pitching staff is the best in the league. They had the best rotation and they had the best bullpen. They traded away Clevenger. Didn't matter. Right here, I'm worried about betting a total in this game because you're looking at a 6.5. And I have about 6.3 runs projected in this game. Whenever I get totals that are this low, when you start getting to those 6.5 totals, I usually just stay off because that generally means, the game is going to be like a 3-2, 4-1 type of game. But this is a game I do have a bet on it. And I like this game on the side, and I'm on the Indians at -105. I believe you have a much better opportunity for a shutout coming from Shane Bieber, followed by you get 7 innings out of Bieber, you get a couple innings out of that bullpen. Honestly, if the Indians get 2-3 runs in this game, that's it. Game over. I mean, I could definitely see this being a 3-1 Indians final here. Now, granted, the Garrett Cole could easily shut down this Indians team, but I look at this. I don't see this game necessarily as a coin flip. I think the Indians should be about -125, and I'm getting -105. That's 20 cents of value to me here. So I like it. And also, you got to factor in, too, we have people going Yankees all day, New York, New York. What happens every time the Yankees play is you see everyone on the Yankees. And what have I told you? We call it the Yankees tax for a reason. There's never value betting the Yankees money line. I bet the Yankees money line over the course of a 162-game season maybe 4 times. I mean, I literally could next year I'll challenge myself not to bet on the Yankees one time. See if I can go the entire season. I'll probably easily do that. 'Cause you just never have value in the Yankees money lines.
Well, I completely understand the breakdown. I completely understand the breakdown. Blitz W says Indians could win series, but Yanks with Cole. I'm on it after Cole. It gets shaky for Yankees pitchers. Jojo Rich says, yeah, I agree. Great breakdown. Going to be a great game today. This Yankees team is healthy for the first time all year, and LeMahieu and Voit stepped up in an enormous way. If they get 3/4 of what we were expecting from Judge and Stanton, do you think that does the fact the Yankees are getting healthy concern you at all?
No. So Shane, when you have a guy like Shane Bieber, it doesn't matter what the lineup is. I mean, Shane Bieber right now, the year he's having, and what we saw from him last year, it's not that surprising that he's turned out to be one of the top pitchers in the league because he's only 25. We saw him last year do great things. When you have a starting pitcher like this, it doesn't matter what your lineup is. He's just going to go out there and shut you down. That's what happens with these elite level starting pitchers. It's like Max Scherzer back a few years ago, when Max Scherzer was just shutting everyone down, winning like 3 out of 4 Cy Youngs. It's like, Nolan Ryan back in the day, I guess. I don't know. I'm not old enough to remember Nolan Ryan, but I'll throw that out for all the old hats watching. It's when you get starting pitchers like this, the lineups don't really matter because he's just going to shut them down. I think Cole could definitely shut the Indians down too. Don't get me wrong. I think Cole is also one of the best starting pitchers in the league. But I'm also looking at these bullpens here. If Cole only goes 6 innings and Bieber winds up going 7 or 8 innings, I mean, Bieber has backed up by a much better bullpen than the Yankees bullpen. The Yankees bullpen is mediocre. At best, the Yankees bullpen is mediocre. So if Cole gets touched for a couple runs, that could be game over.
Yeah, the Yankees bullpen, just like the Jays bullpen, fell apart there late in the year, and they got back a little bit in the end. Ended up allowing 32 home runs, 232 average against. I copied and pasted that question, Gokster. I will ask Ant when we move on past this. Dan Kelly says you are aware that the Indians hit like my 64-year-old sister.
I am aware that the Indians have had a bad year offensively. They've looked better toward the end of the season. Still in a below-average offense, even toward the end of the season. But the Indians they still have high upside pieces in that offense. They still have Lindor. They still have Ramirez. So it's like the Indians are one of those teams where it's like they got a bad offense, but you've seen them be good before. It's not like the Pirates where they have a bad offense and you just know they suck. Like the Indians have the potential to be a really good offense here, but you're also looking at it too. You have the best starting pitcher in baseball and the best bullpen in baseball, and you're getting a pick-em price.
Speaking of Jose Ramirez, last 11 hits have gone for extra bases, 7 doubles, 4 homers, hitting .442 over his past 12 games. The Yankees closed the year 6 losses in 8 games. They are healthier. That's about all you can say. Going back to Bieber, first pitching triple crown since Yohan Santana in 2006. First Cleveland pitcher to accomplish that since Bob Feller, 1940. I'm very comfortable with my Indians over first 5 over 3. If I had a free bet, I would take the Indians, but I like what I'm getting here on the first 5 over 3. MMA Locker Room says Bieber over 8.5 Ks. Bet yo lunch money. Bet yo lunch money. Talk Sports and JT says Bieber gets touched. Yankees can run away with this game. Yeah, but I mean, the bullpen is very strong over there with the Indians. 3.53 ERA, 1.16 WHIP. And Cashman19 says you are also going against the best pitcher in baseball last 3 years who has a playoff experience against a team that hasn't hit. Let's talk about that playoff experience. Last year's postseason, Garrett Cole, 4-1, 1.72 ERA, 0.87 WHIP. 4 career starts against Cleveland, 2-1, 2.79 ERA.
My favorite postseason start from Cole was when Schwarber hit the ball 750,000 feet into the river. So, no, the thing is, like, I love Garrett Cole. I think he's one of the best pitchers in the league. But you also got to look at this too. Bieber's been better this year, period. In every aspect of the game, Bieber's been a runaway the best starting pitcher in the league, and Bieber's backed up by a substantially better bullpen. It's not like the Indians' bullpen is just marginally better than the Yankees. The Indians' bullpen is substantially better than the Yankees' bullpen. That's like not even a question. So, taking a substantially better bullpen along with the best starting pitcher in the league at a coin flip price against a team that is almost never at value, because you never have line value betting the Yankees. That's just kind of a fact. If you bet the Yankees money line every game, I mean, okay. But you never really have that much line value betting the Yankees. They're the most public team in all of North American sports, to be honest with you. They're probably more public than the Cowboys, for Christ's sakes. So you never really have line value with the Yankees. I mean, do the Yankees win this game? Yeah, they could. I think the Yankees probably win this game 45% of the time, but I only need the Indians to win the game, 55% of the time to make a lot of money betting minus 105. So there you go.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's a tight one. As you said, the edge that you have is small, but there.
Yeah, a lot of people just kind of like give things into context here. I'm talking about betting 2, 3, 4, 5% edges here. None of this is really a prediction. I'm not predicting Indians to win. I have the Indians projected to win about 55% of the time, and I'm getting a line that reflects a 51% of the time win probability. I mean, that's what you're betting into here. You're not like, well, I think this team's – I mean, otherwise, if you bet who you thought was going to win, you never take a plus 250 dog. I bet plenty of plus 250 dogs. Not one time I've ever said, boy, I think this plus 250 dog actually is going to win the game. It's just you bet them enough when they should be plus 200, you turn a profit. You're betting numbers here. You're breaking down the game, you're breaking down the statistics, and you're coming up with probabilities, and then you bet the number.
I like it.
What betting is everyone talks about predictions, and I just don't think that's the right way to look at it.
No, and Jin Rami talks about that, nonstop with us. It's important and very important to hear that. Very important to hear that. There are all 4 wild card games today. We're going to take a brief look at the games tomorrow. We're going to talk a little bit about futures. But first, NL, could you please review your action on today's card?
All right. I'm on the Indians money line minus 105. I'm on the Blue Jays Rays over 7.5. I got that at minus 105, and I'll probably add some team totals a little bit later on. I'm on the over 7.5 at even money in the Twins Astros game, and I'm on the first 5 money line for the White Sox minus 135 in the White Sox Athletics game.
A lot of action for Ant. Going to be a fun day. The Astros are now at plus 160. At what point?
They're getting closer.
At what point? That total is still where it was, that over 7.5 and plus 100. Those are both very interesting spots that I've not pulled the trigger on. Then I'm on the first 5 over 4, White Sox A's at minus 110. I doubled up on the Rays, first 5 minus half, full game minus 1, and paid a lot of juice for it. And I'm interested if this total goes to 7. The 7.5 is also at plus 100. So the Astros, Twins, Blue Jays, Rays, be very curious to see if any of those totals get down to 7. And then the bet I made last night, first 5 over 3, minus 115 in Yankees, Indians. Ravi Patel talking about taking a run scored in the first inning at a nice juicy price. Very interesting look. I'm going to take a look and see what my book is offering for that. But there you have it. Those are your spots. Let's move into tomorrow's games and then talk briefly about the futures market. We do have a question, though, first, Ant, from Mr. Gokster. He says, question, Ant, who will start for the Cubs in Game 3 if it gets that far?
Oh, God, really? Probably John Lester. I don't like that idea of Lester pitching. After the Cubs, after Darvish and Hendricks. I don't like the Cubs lineup, or the Cubs starter. So, I mean, you're either I would go with Quintana myself, but Rossi and Lester are like best friends. So maybe Lester. I don't know. I don't want it to get that far. I want 2-0 sweep. 2-0 sweep. Let's not worry about a game 3. Yeah, Rob Wilson Watkins. If Lester pitches, they lose. I mean, Alec Mills threw a no-hitter this year, but I watched that game, and that was one of the luckiest no-hitters you'll ever see. So, I mean, I'm not enamored with anybody the Cubs put out there outside of Hendricks and Darvish.
Yeah, I'd still throw Lester over Alec Mills. So that'd be me. All right, let's take a look at tomorrow. Do you have any plan of attack? Is there anything that you've already bet? Is there anything that you want to bet?
I haven't capped tomorrow's games yet, but I have looked at some series prices. I don't want to tell people this, but I did bet the Cubs -190 to win the series. I am willing to lay juice a little bit more in series bets than I am in like single game bets, because it's much more difficult for a shitty team to beat a good team 2 games out of 3 than it is just one random off game. One thing, I know this is a very, very good analysis, but I think the Dodgers completely demolished the Brewers. I mean, I'm not even sure. They shouldn't even play that series, honestly. They should just pencil the Dodgers in for 2 wins and let the Dodgers go ahead right into the divisional round. The Brewers are just going to get completely raped in that series.
Well, let's talk about the series futures here. What appeals to you most? Padres are at -200, Cardinals at +170, Dodgers -360, Brewers +280. I did see a couple of prognosticators say are taking the Cardinals to upset the Padres, by the way. Marlins +165, Cubbies -185, Reds +120, Braves -140. Do any of those jump out at you?
The Reds, that is one game tomorrow that I've already capped it a little bit, but with Fried versus Bauer, you're getting plus money on a Bauer start. Bauer should be the Cy Young winner for the AL this year. So if you're getting the Reds, I think they're about +120-ish is the last time I saw. That's my look for tomorrow right now. If you want me to give out a game, thanks for bringing that up. It reminded me. I'm like, oh yeah, I do like the Reds tomorrow. The Reds series price, with me kind of liking the Reds tomorrow with Bauer going, them winning that series, because it is a best 2 out of 3. I like the price on the Reds there. The Dodgers, you cannot lay that price with the Dodgers, but I mean, I don't see the Dodgers losing to the Brewers in a best 2 out of 3, but -360 is a little bit crazy. I don't agree with anyone saying the Cardinals will beat the Padres, and that's not me being a Cubs fan talking. That's just my respect for the Padres. The Padres have a substantially better lineup, and then the Padres I'm not sure who the Padres are throwing out there, but I like Clevenger. I like Dillis. How do you pronounce that name? Dinelson
Lamet?
Yeah, him. Lamet. Lamet's been very good this year. I think the Padres have an ace in the hole there. Paddock the Padres, you look at the Padres starters, it just looks a lot better than who the Cardinals are going to throw out there. Outside of Flaherty and Wainwright, and you already know I don't really respect Wainwright the last few years. I love Flaherty, but outside of Flaherty and Wainwright, who are the Cardinals going to throw out there? Hudson's down with Tommy John. They lost Carlos Martinez earlier in the year. I don't see any advantage that the Cardinals have going up against the Padres. I think the Padres are probably the second best team in the National League. They just have to be in the same division as the Dodgers. And I think the Cardinals are a very average team, which they are. They're a 500 team. So, I mean, the only reason why they're in the playoffs is because there's 8 teams this year. So there you go on that one. So, yeah, if you want to lay the -200 with the Padres, that's up to you if you're comfortable laying those numbers, but I'm not taking the Cardinals. And I don't know what kind of people think they're smarter than the room to think that the Cardinals are going to beat the Padres. I mean, it's baseball. Anything can happen in a short series, but the Cardinals are no stretch of the imagination close as good as the Pods here. The Pods have a great lineup and a great pitching staff.
What are the futures to win NL, AL that look most appealing to you? Padres are sitting at 5-1, Braves 5.5-1, Cubbies 7-1. Why don't we start with the NL? Reds 11-1. Is it worth fading or not? Dodgers are at plus 120.
Yeah, don't bet the Dodgers. Now, I love the Dodgers. I've been saying it all year. They are the best team in baseball, but you have no value betting a team to win the playoffs, especially when there's 3 rounds instead of 2 to get to the World Series. Betting the Dodgers plus 130, that's just lighting money on fire. You cannot bet futures like that, only getting plus 130. I think the value would be Padres because they are the second best team in the National League. So the value is on the Padres. I already bet the Cubs because I'm a Cubs fan, so I just bet them because I'm a Cubs fan. Futures-wise, not game-to-game, but futures-wise, I just bet the Cubs every year, so don't worry about that bet. I do like the Padres, though, at 5-1. I think there's value there. They get past the Cardinals, kind of see who they're playing after that. But right now, the only one in the National League I like in value-wise would be Padres at 5-1. That's a pretty decent price for the second-best team in the National League.
All right, we are going to close the show on best bets, but let's talk about this MLB AL to win AL and World Series. Rays at 3-1, Yanks 3.5-1, A's 5.5-1, Twins 5.5-1, White Sox 7-1, Indians 7-1, Astros 13-1, Jays 14-1. Anything jump out at you?
The Indians, with that pitching staff, the Indians are going to be in every single game, or their Indians are going to be in every single series. I think I getting 12-1 to win the World Series. I actually took the Indians. With the pitching staff like that, you cannot ignore a 12-1 price. So I took the Indians. Dan got that. Wainwright was dead. His arm's dead. Anyway, so I have the Indians at 12-1. I 5 dimes shut down in the United States, so my Tampa Bay Rays at 17-1 preseason got refunded to me. Can I complain about that for a second? No, I think a lot of people. Yeah. I had the Tampa Bay Rays at 17-1 preseason, and I tweeted that out before the season started. 17-1 Tampa Bay Rays World Series. Yeah, it got refunded to me by 5 times. They said, "Here's your $50 back. We're no longer." So that kind of irritated me. So I'm not going to rebet them at 3-1 or 5-1 or whatever it is. But with the pitching staff, the Indians have, you cannot go wrong at a 12-1 price. So pricing wise, because I was looking over this, I would go Indians for the World Series, and I'd go Padres to win the National League at 5-1. And if you want to get into it, you can get matchups with teams versus teams and get like better prices. So if you want to because I think the Dodgers will probably make the World Series, you can look at Dodgers versus the Twins and get like a much better price, or Dodgers versus, the Yankees or something like that. And then you can start getting 10-1s, 12-1s, 18-1s, things like that are a little bit more appetizing than just taking the Dodgers to win the World Series at 3-1 or whatever it is.
I like it, Ant. Great stuff today. It was fun just to really break down these games. Thank you for joining us. You can find Ant here every Tuesday on the show. And let's move to best bet on today's card. But caveat, with prices available right now.
Prices available right now.
Best bet on today's card with the caveat, prices available right now. What would you say for you?
Let me look. I like them all. I love all my bets. I'm going to go with White Sox first 5 minus 135 because I just want to attack that best team in the league against lefties going up against the lefty. I want to attack that matchup.
I like it. I think the best bet available right now is the first 5 over 4 in White Sox A's. right now.
like that.
The best bet on the card, on your card, at the prices that you locked in. What's that best bet?
That one, because it's still available, -135. That's what I bet it at. It's been sitting at that all morning when the first fives dropped. So I'd say the -135 on the White Sox first 5 innings. And I like that over in the first 5 too. Because if Giolito gives up a run or two, I mean, that's going to go over. I mean, I think the White Sox get 3 runs in that first 5 innings off of Luzardo.
I'm looking forward. I've been hurt fading Luzardo so far this year, so I'm really excited to watch all this baseball. It's going to be so much fun. The best bet on my card, I think, is locking in that first 5 over 3 -115 last night on the Yankees Indians. There you have it, and what a treat it is. And the games, we get a little less quantity of action, but the games are more and more important.
Mm-hmm.
And we put our focus towards NCAA football a little more here on the show. And I'm excited. I'm really excited about all this. Thank you for your great work. Follow our man, Ant L, on Twitter. There's his Twitter handle, @AntL_sports. Thanks so much for your hard work, my man. It was great having you back. And enjoy your day off watching baseball, and hope you get paid in full.
Oh, I hope so too. Thank you, guys. I'll see you next week.
There he is. And
more playoff baseball. Best time of the year. Playoff baseball.
Playoff baseball. It is a great time of year. Great time of year. So tonight, 8 p.m., we have the NFL opening lines show, 8 p.m. Eastern. Rob Bebenek sitting at 13-5. Just grab his overall record. Bebenek sitting at, 13-4. 13-4 plus 8.33 units. ROI plus 49%. Start the year. Woo! Bebenek is eating. 13-4 plus 8.33 units. ROI of 49%. Can't say that about myself. I'm 12-12. Down 1.25 units with an ROI of -5.21%. And then don't forget Saturday Preakness, baby. Preakness. Go back to horses and can't wait to do it. All righty. Thank you guys so much. Very fun start of the week. And we have 7 games tomorrow. Noli Knows will be joining us, so we've got a lot to break down tomorrow. 7 games. And we also have NBA Finals Game 1, Lakers Heat. So that's going to be enormous fun. Thank you guys. Much love. Dan Kelly says, when quality smart better like Ant likes all of his bets and gives out a best bet, that is the only one that will lose. Handicapping is a cruel mistress. Thank you guys so much for rolling with us. We have nothing without these great cappers in the chat. Dennis Garcia, Prince of Wales, Stakes. God, I wish we could go, Dennis. Down at Fort Erie. Wish we could go, man. I love that little track. I love it enormously. All you guys, thank you for your hard work. Luffy D Monkey, Jojo Rich, Gin Rummy, Birdie, Alex Ramirez, Sean Schmidt, Jordy Nordman, Ant L, Ron Walsek, Dennis Garcia, Alexi Popovich, Mr. Gokster R. Not applicable. It's not applicable. Mike Brightware, Elliot V, Robert Allen, Von Polo. Have an incredible time this weekend. We'll be bigging up and building up your big trip to Vegas this weekend. Wish I was right there with you guys. And Brightware saying best bet is Yankees over 3 first 5, period. Ant's best bet, Nilo, was the White Sox first 5. But, at -115, I really like the first 5 over in that game over 3. At -130, I kind of like the White Sox at this price right now at -110. Because -130 is a lot to spend. Let's have ourselves a day today. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here in odds.com. Check out odds.com. Incredible articles over there. We got John Ryan articles, Dennis Garcia articles. By the way, Dennis, great job on your Monday Night Football article. That was a thing of beauty. Hey, those bookmakers! You're paid in full.